Welcome viewers to the January 14th, 2023 edition of 284 News. I am Jaco Whitting, bringing you our top stories from this week. Thank you so much for joining us. We begin today's coverage with news of the arrest and release of former Speaker of the House of Assembly Julian Willock. Willock broke his silence to address the incident, which was in relation to suspected human trafficking, in a statement following his release. More in this report.
Just hours following his release from custody of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, Willock confirmed the arrest via a statement where he also declared his innocence as he provided details on the incident. Well, he said, and I quote, "On January 10th, 2023 at around 11 a.m., I was detained, questioned and released without charges by 6 Caucasian United Kingdom officers, where they claimed I was being investigated on suspicion of human trafficking because of some visa waivers I had obtained over the years." End quote. Willock also disclosed that all of his communication devices are still within the possession of UK investigators and have not yet been returned. He admitted to applying and obtaining visa waivers, but said they were all done in accordance with the laws of the BVI. Well, he said, and I quote, "I did apply and obtain visa waivers in association with my company, Advanced Marketing and Professional Services, where these were all legally acquired through the Deputy Governor's Office. Most of the visa waivers were obtained before my tenure as Speaker. It is my understanding that all persons who came via a visa waiver have since left the territory and did so as per immigration requirements." End quote. The former Speaker also alluded to the investigation being another attempt by the United Kingdom government to finally have him behind bars. Well, he said, and I quote, "I know the people of the Virgin Islands are fully awake and still have confidence in my integrity, for it was suggested if they could not get me via the Commission of Inquiry, they had to get me another way. Assurance can be given that my lawyer and I will put those unfounded allegations to rest." End quote. While likening himself to prominent civil rights activists, Willock said he too shall prevail in clearing his name from what he termed to be false allegations. Well, he said, and I quote, "Throughout history, those who have fought for human dignity, freedom, and justice, such as Patrice Lumumba, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, and our very own Noah Lloyd, have faced bogus allegations, trumped-up charges, and character assassination. But in the end, truth and justice emerged and prevailed." End quote. Well, more to come as this story continues to develop. Reporting for 284 News, I am Kamal Haynes.
Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley and Minister for Education, the Honorable Sherry De Castro, were both taken to task as contractors took center stage at the opening ceremony of the Elmore Stout High School. Among things sought were better educational planning and more consistent support for young athletes. More in this report. Don Crabbe Herbert of Outland Heavy Equipment Limited has aired her views on some necessary developments which need to take place beyond infrastructure to best position the territory's youth to lead a life of excellence. Herbert spoke at the opening ceremony of the Elmore Stout High School and made sure that the territory's administrative leaders left with homework that day. She first addressed Education Minister Honorable Sherry De Castro and urged that, among other things, steps be taken to ensure that Virgin Islands history is a mandatory aspect of learning experiences in the territory schools.
Honorable Sherry De Castro, Minister responsible for education, culture, youth affairs and sports. Today, we charge you as part of our generation to ensure this privilege continues. These buildings are just a symbol of our capacity and our abilities. Coming out of what these buildings must produce, industry leaders that understand what this privilege means. The understanding of hard work that is needed to succeed. To fall is not to fail, but the building of the muscles needed for their journey. Teaching them that our blessings came from our service to others and our faith in God. And lastly, Honorable De Castro, not forgetting to ensure all Virgin Islands history is taught and experienced in our schools by mandatory participation, so we do not forget who we are and where we have come from.
Crabbe Herbert then turned her attention to Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, who she charged for the territory's development and maintenance, as well as better planning and financial support for the education sector.
Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, Premier, and minister responsible for all finances and the leadership of this territory. Today, we charge you for all sustainability of this territory's future. The support of our education is the uttermost important. It is the foundation of all things in this territory. We have been caught up for so long with everything around us that we have not paid enough attention to our educational planning. We ask for more financial support for our education, for our youth affairs and sports, as these are the foundations for which this territory needs to thrive for all other industries.
Additionally, she asked that the Premier and the wider community show greater support for the territory's athletes and get more involved in the rigorous training periods which have allowed them to excel on the regional and international stage.
The culture of service we have developed at Virgin Islanders has kept our sports program thriving for years. BVI Athletic Association begins their season on Saturday the 7th of January at 2 p.m. This institution of learning produces some of the top student athletes that represent our shores. Where is our government's dedication in this journey? What has been given is truly appreciated, but there is room for much more. Your presence for support, not just at awards, but during the journey in which these athletes and coaches need. More financial support in preparation of these Virgin Islands athletes in all the sports. Get more involved. I'm going to say that again. Please get more involved. Come out. We want to see you. Be there when they're falling, when they're crying, when they're struggling to represent us on the platforms that are to come.
Later on in the ceremony, Honorable Sherry De Castro lauded Crabbe Herbert for her contribution that day and said that she shared similar sentiments, that these additional measures will assist in the holistic development of the territory's children. For 284 News, I am Jacques Wooding. And with that, we take you to a quick commercial break. Stay with us because there's more when we return.
Hun, it's asking for your password.
Huh?
You were logged out. I need the password.
BR.
What's the rest?
BRANDI, the number 4 EVER?
Who's Brandy?
We're like the password that isn't your ex-girlfriend's name. CG Insurance. Good like that.
I should have changed it.
You should have.
You're right.
There are many ways to enjoy life. Like so many ways to count on Popular.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. As he reflected on various government initiatives that were absent in the 2022 holiday season, including community-level Christmas parties for the less fortunate and general street cleaning and beautification exercises in some areas, Leader of the opposition, Honorable Julian Fraser, took some time to send a message to persons in the population who have criticized such initiatives as a waste of government money, particularly those who themselves have had their lives touched by direct funding from the government at some point.
I know there are those out there who are saying wasting government money. You didn't know we were wasting government money when you took the scholarship to go to school. Now that you got the scholarship and educated, you're coming back running your mouth. I want to line them up. Line up. How did you get, are you educated? Got a college education? Yes. How did you pay for it? Blah, 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 yeah. Scholarship. You got a scholarship, but you don't want anyone else to get anything else. When your parents got ill and had to go travel overseas, and government paid for it, you're going to run your mouth now.
Fraser went on to share his views on various discussions which would have taken place at community level as it relates to how the government should have responded to disagreements with property owners.
Selfishness, bad-mindedness. They said bad-mindedness is next to witchcraft. It's the same thing with the Ellis Thomas Downs where people are talking about compulsory acquisitions. Bad-mindedness. It's next to witchcraft. That's why I would fight to the death. We have to keep land taxes down. We have to keep them low. And they're being kept low for a reason. They're not being kept low because the government is stupid or afraid to collect taxes. They're being kept low for a reason. You cannot divorce a Virgin Islander from his land. If you do that, that's wickedness. It's bad-mindedness. That land was inherited. An inheritance is something you don't play with.
In other news, the Department of Disaster Management is reminding residents of the Virgin Islands to be in a constant state of readiness for possible earthquakes, given the territory's position in a seismically active area. More in this report. On the heels of a reported uptick in seismic activity in close proximity to the territory, the Department of Disaster Management is reminding residents of the Virgin Islands to #be ready for earthquakes throughout the year, as the Virgin Islands is a seismically active area. In a recent statement, Director of Disaster Management Jason Penn explained that while a majority of earthquakes recorded in the territory are not felt by persons, they are frequent. For example, from December 1st to January 9th, the Puerto Rico Seismic Network, which monitors the surrounding areas, recorded 76 earthquakes, with the largest being a 4.35 magnitude event on Christmas Day. Penn noted that the Department of Disaster Management works closely with partners such as the PRSN, the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, the University of Puerto Rico's Strong Motion Program, and the United States Geological Survey to closely monitor such activity. He added that agreements with these partners allow the department to rapidly receive and disseminate safety information regarding threats that originate from distant earthquakes. Should any event be deemed a significant threat, members of the public will be notified via radio, press announcements, social media, the DDM Alert app, and if necessary, the early warning sirens. The community is reminded that earthquakes can occur at any time and are urged to familiarize themselves with the following tips. Should an earthquake take place, it is important to remain calm. If you are inside, stay there. Move away from ceiling fans, glass windows, and doors, or anything that can fall. If possible, get under a sturdy piece of furniture, cover your head, and hold on. If outdoors, move into an open area away from trees, buildings, utility wires, or poles. During an earthquake, the more you move, the more likely you are to get hurt. Refrain from entering or exiting any building during the shaking. Disaster preparedness resources such as emergency plan templates, emergency shelter lists, and continuity planning templates for businesses are available on the department's website, BVI-LW.com. Jacka Wooding, 284 News. On January 10, 2023, the government of the Virgin Islands Postal Services launched the commemorative stamp in honor of the 20th anniversary of the BVI London office. Here's a look at that activity.
And today I have the privilege of releasing and announcing the BVI Postal Service new stamp issue to commemorate the 20th anniversary of the BVI London office at BVI House in London. Let us think about the power of a stamp to carry a message on every envelope. Every person who sees that stamp gets the message, asks the question, what's behind that stamp? We celebrate a lot of things, but we also use stamps to carry messages. Messages about our territory, messages about good things about our territory, and in this case, we commemorate the important aspect of an investment made for our territory. The release of a $1 commemorative stamp for the 20th anniversary of the BVI London office at BVI House depicts an exterior representation of BVI House, home of the BVI London office. In June 2002, the government of the Virgin Islands, under the leadership of the then Chief Minister, Honorable Ralph T. O'Neill, OBE, approved the acquisition of BVI House in London. It was a first step in establishing the BVI London office and raising the territory's profile in the United Kingdom and Europe.
And with that, we take a word from our sponsors. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Freeze. Choose your mix, choose your flavor.
That's out. That's 6. That's out.
With worldwide medical coverage and affordable premiums, we're like a home match that isn't played at your actual home. CG Insurance. Good like that.
My turn. Oh, come on, guys.
Yo, everything good, Dad?
Aye. This thing got me one way, Daddy.
What you mean?
Ever since I hook up with this thing, can't eat, I can't sleep. This is the first thing I touch it when I reach home.
What you really? Hey, this ain't like you, you know.
Dad, this thing got me staying home, keeping out of trouble me.
Wow. What your name is?
Shit. I talking about my CCT life.
Don't worry about missing your favorite series, sports, news, and local programming. Come to CCT today and sign up for CCT Live to access over 80 channels. CCT Live. Bring it home.
1 month free trial turn into 5. 5 months turn into, well, you know I huff. I watching ball. I been watching football. Dad, Nickelodeon, Paw Patrol. I am hooked. Hooked, I tell you.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. 4 sites in the territory have been ranked among the best in the Caribbean in the 2023 Caribbean Readers' Choice Awards. The BVI Tourist Board welcomed the news in a statement on Tuesday. The British Virgin Islands featured prominently among islands recognized in the 2023 Caribbean Readers' Choice Awards conducted by USA Today. The annual 10 Best Awards featured 20 nominees selected by USA Today's panel of travel experts and selected after a voting period allowing readers to have their say on the top 10 from the nominee list. Categories usually include food, lodging, destinations, and other travel-related categories. This year, the BVI was successful in being featured in the top 10 for the categories of Best Caribbean Attraction, Best Caribbean Beach Bar, and Best Caribbean Rum Distillery. These features included the territory's Soggy Dollar Bar on Just Van Dyke, taking the #1 spot for Best Caribbean Beach Bar. Hendo's Hideout, also on Just Van Dyke, featured on the same list, taking in the #4 spot. In the Best Caribbean Attraction category, the Baffs National Park in Virgin Gorda came in at #8. And for the Best Caribbean Rum Distillery, the Colwood Rum Distillery on Tortola was also voted #8. The Virgin Islands Tourist Board welcomed the news in a press release, which included a statement from Director for Tourism Clive McCoy. "We are honored to receive this coveted recognition from USA Today and its voters," he said. "The Caribbean's beach bars, attractions, and rum distilleries are among the best in the world. We are proud to be ranked in the top 10 regionally in those categories. Congratulations to our award-winning tourism industry partners," McCoy added. For 284 News, I am Jacqueline Winning. Miss Universe BVI Leah Claxton participated in the first round of competition for the 71st Miss Universe International pageant on Wednesday night. More in this report.
Leah Claxton, British Virgin Islands!
Miss Universe British Virgin Islands Leah Claxton took the stage at the Miss Universe 2023 preliminary competition on the evening of January 11th. Claxton was one of 84 delegates to make their first impression on this year's judges as she took the stage in 3 categories: national costume, swimwear, and evening wear. Proudly representing the territory, Claxton appeared in the national costume segment in a costume depicting the BVI's national flower, the white cedar.
British Virgin Islands. The white cedar is the national flower of the British Virgin Islands. They are often pink and can be found in clusters throughout the spring and summer. The costume have 5 petals highlighted with a yellow splash in the center. She looked like the leader of every white cedar. British Virgin Islands.
The 19-year-old held her own among talented beauties from across the world, many of which succeeded her in age. In the swimsuit segment, she showed off her modeling skills as the announcer highlighted her sports background.
British Virgin Islands. Leah fell in love with track and field after joining a running club in the aftermath of Hurricanes Irma and Maria. Last year, this 19-year-old earned the title of BVI 5K National Female Champion, British Virgin Islands.
And during the evening wear segment, she stunned as she graced the stage in a beautiful silver gown.
British Virgin Islands. 19-year-old Leah is currently pursuing an English degree with a concentration in writing and rhetoric. This certified scuba diver volunteers at a child care center and would like to be a lawyer in the future.
The 71st Miss Universe pageant finals will be held on Saturday, January 14th. For 284 News, I am Jacqueline. After a 5-year absence, the BDO Limited Primary and Secondary School Football League has made a return, with games to commence from January through March 2023. More in this report.
To officially launch the recommencement of the league, participating schools gathered in the area of Waterfront Drive on Tortola at around 3 p.m. on Wednesday and marched throughout surrounding areas across Road Town with their final destination, the A.O. Shirley Recreation Ground. Well, there, a ceremony was held that featured many dignitaries, including Governor His Excellency John Rankin, Premier Dr. the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, Sports Minister Honorable Shari De Castro, Health Minister Honorable Marlon Penn, and President of the BVI Football Association, Mr. Andy Bickerton. While speaking on the importance of grassroots programs, President Bickerton stressed the need for such programs as they are key to the development of football in the territory. Well, according to Bickerton, 68% of the current national team came from the Schools Football League, which has been sponsored by BDO Limited for some 10 years.
This program, as I said, is the basis of what we've achieved at the BVI Football Association. Our national team now is one of the youngest in this region, the CONCACAF region. That's North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. 17 of our 20-man national team squad, 17 of 25 have come through this program. I think that's an amazing achievement in 10 years. You might have seen some names like Tyler Fields from Seacoast Bay, recently signed a contract with a semi-professional team in England. He's been away on a scholarship from the BVI-FA. Luca Charwell has been on trial with 2 full-time professional clubs, one in the English Championship and one in non-league football. Those are an example to you guys of what can be achieved.
Football has the potential to offer players life-changing opportunities, and referencing the likes of FIFA World Cup winners Lionel Messi and Kylian Mbappe, Premier Wheatley said children in the BVI can aspire to reach similar goals.
But what I want you to know is that Mbappe and Lionel Messi, they started right here. They didn't start in the BVI, but they started off playing football as youth. And I don't want any of you to underestimate where football can take you in life. The president of the Football Association spoke about it, and he spoke about all the opportunities which we are capitalizing on as persons who grew up right here in the BVI, Virgin Islanders. And these persons are getting education, and they're getting the opportunity to have careers in football. And this is something that you should not underestimate. You can go that far.
The Football Association was commended by Sports Minister De Castro for their continued work towards the development of football in the territory.
I want to recognize the BVI Football Association for really being a beacon of hope and really showing us how we can continue to expand upon the grassroots programs in sports and really make it across the board for all sports, so that all children in our territory would be able to truly have the opportunity to try as many sports as possible, to then be able to make a choice on exactly what they want to do and be a part of. So I want to say to you that the Ministry of Education and the Department of Youth Affairs and Sports are currently ensuring that we seek to replicate what is taking place here at BVI-FA, as well as what is taking place in track and field, to make sure that on both the primary and secondary level, we have grassroots leagues for all sports in the territory.
Meanwhile, Governor Rankin highlighted the development of women's football in the territory, which he said is evident in the growing numbers observed to be in this year's Schools League.
But I want to particularly to welcome all the young men and young women here, all the boys and girls, and particularly, if I mean, the girls, because when I played football when I was your age, very few girls were taking part in the sport. But as we now know, it's a sport which girls can equally play. It's a sport in which girls can equally excel. And so see so many young girls here as well as young boys here getting involved in football, getting to learn the sport, I think is a fabulous sight which we should also mark and celebrate this evening.
The governor also spoke on the importance of team, as the sport is one that requires the collective efforts from all participants to gain positive results.
And we cannot be successful as an individual player at football if you don't know how else to play with your team. And that, I think, is a lesson for all of us, for governors, for ministers, for all of us know the work you do. You can't just achieve it alone, but you need to work in a team with others. So I hope that as you develop your skills, you develop those friendships as a team. And those friendships will indeed last you in all your life.
Reporting for 284 News, I am Kamal Haynes.
And with that, we have come to the end of today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com and like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Jacka Whitting, and I will see you again next week. Have yourself a safe and enjoyable weekend. Goodbye.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Introducing a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons. I'm taking you outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's the best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Virgin Gorda to Joss Van Dyke, not forgetting Anigada. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing. We are the movers and shakers of this generation. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Season 4 by yours truly, Ron Grant. Raising a generation of greatness. Wednesdays at 8 p.m.